أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين أصحابه المنتجبين ولعنة الله الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمسابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. Before we go on to what we need to discuss on this night, somebody pointed out something from last night's lecture about the destiny of God and the verse in the Quran, Tabbat yada Abi Lahabin wa tab, that the hands of Abu Lahab have perished. That was a destiny that was sealed, because otherwise the Quran would have been disproven. Had Abu Lahab accepted Islam, it would have disproven the Quran. Not quite. Allah says He has the mother of all books. He can wipe clean whatever He wants. When a verse comes, that verse was assumed to be eternal. Then Allah abrogates that verse. Ma nansakh min ayatin aw nunsiha. We do not abrogate a verse, or we do not cause it to be forgotten, save that we bring better than it or its like. So the Quran makes that provision that even if Abu Lahab had become a Muslim, I'm saying theoretically, that would not have faltered with the Quran. Destiny is in the making, in the present. However, what about the verse غُلِبَتِ الرُّومِ, that Romans have been vanquished and they will triumph again? Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is committing Himself. When Allah commits Himself, obviously that is a destiny that is done. Now, how does that happen? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows every factor in the absolute present, you know exactly what is going to happen. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the present talks with Isa on the day of Qiyamah, which is yet to come. But for God, it's in the absolute present right now. O Isa, did you say, worship me and my mother other than Allah? Allah is speaking with Isa on the day of Qiyamah at the time of the revelation of the Prophet. The day of Qiyamah is yet to come. There are certain things that we know in the present are exactly as they are going to be. How? Let us give an example. We know from class of children who are studying, we know a certain amount will pass and a certain amount will fail according to their aptitudes. The world of God is no different. So when you know all the factors, you know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's the people predicting the weather. It's the only reason they get it inaccurate is because they don't know all the factors that are there. Allah knows all the factors that are entailed. However, if Allah commits Himself to something, then obviously that's a done deal. But on the other hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change whatever He wants at will without having any cause imposed upon Him. Because otherwise we are faltering with the free-willed nature of God. If we say God cannot do this, and that means God is not God by definition. So all we can say is that God binds Himself to upholding such a thing. So God can do whatever He wants, but He binds Himself and says He will not do any injustice to anybody. You cannot use the word can't in terms of Allah when it's limiting Allah. The word cannot can only be applied to Allah when it is expressing His completion, His completeness and His absoluteness. So when you say God cannot oppress, it is not a limitation of God, it's actually adding to the beauty of God. So when you say this man cannot kill, you mean in one or two things. He does not have the ability to kill, or that his nobility will never allow him to kill. In the case of God, it is the affirmative sort of understanding of God that will never allow Him to do anything below what is expected of God. So we can only use the word cannot in terms of God to depict His completion, beauty and greatness and perfection. We cannot use the word cannot in terms of God to undermine God's ability. Just recite the salawat and come forward, please. And as I said, these discussions I've had in another place, so please refer to them and maybe somebody can come and explain to these things to us further at another point. And Monday, if you could kindly come back and we can discuss all the points that need to be discussed and tie up certain loose ends in this discussion and many other discussions that we have had so far. Now we come to that burning issue of Imamah. Is Imamah an article of faith? For somebody to be known as a Muslim, what do they need to believe in before they are accepted within the formal faith? Before they can marry within the fold, transact within the fold, live within the fold, and enjoy the rights that that group has. We stated of our ulama, the likes of Imam Khomeini and Sayyid Baqir al-Sadr, they said believing in Allah and the Risala of Prophet Muhammad qualifies a person to be a Muslim. That's all you need. Sayyid al-Khu in addition added believing in Allah, in the Risala and in Qiyamah qualifies a person to be a Muslim. So if somebody does not believe in Imamat per se, we cannot take them out of Islam. They are nonetheless Muslims. So therefore, if Imamah is an article, what type of an article is it? It is an article of the madhab of Shia Islam. It is not an article of the religion of Islam. It is the article of the sect of Shia Islam. So if somebody says Ali ibn Abi Talib is the first Imam and was supposed to be the first Khalifa, but then he wasn't, that is a person who is known as a Shia. But in that as well, there are a variety of options. For example, the Zaydis will say that the Khilafa of Khalifa Abu Bakr, Khalifa Umar, Khalifa Uthman was legitimate. Imam Ali was the first Imam, was supposed to be the first Khalifa, but nonetheless he was the first Khalifa. And we accept the Khilafa of the first three. Then they are also Shia, because they're talking about Imam Ali as the first Imam. So in the minimalistic understanding is that either proclaiming Imam Ali as the first Imam per se without placing him in the scheme of Khilafa, or saying that he was the most eligible and was denied. Either or qualifies a person to be a Shia. But if somebody does not believe in Imamah, they are nonetheless Muslims. We cannot call a person who does not believe in Imamah in whatever way as a non-Muslim. If we've understood this, then we say that this is the point which has become a point of crisis upon the Muslim Ummah. The Prophet said, Ana wa Ali abawa hadhihi al-ummah. Me and Ali are the two fathers of this Ummah. Yes? Imam Ali was never meant to be a point of division for the Muslims. He was meant to be a unifying factor for the Muslims. Our Sunni brothers have a hadith in which they say that the Prophet said to Ali ibn Abi Talib, you are like the Kaaba. You will not go out to the people will come to you. Now if you look at the Khilafa, we find Saqifa, we find appointment, we find a council. These are the three methods we find in appointment of the Khalifa. It was only in the case of Ali ibn Abi Talib that there was no such notion of Saqifa, there was no appointment, there was no council of experts. It was the people who converged upon Ali ibn Abi Talib. And that is a state of the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now at that point, there was no Sunni or Shia. All of them equally converged upon Ali ibn Abi Talib. That is how Ali ibn Abi Talib was supposed to be understood. I have no doubt, and I say this with an open heart, yes, that had Imam Ali become the first Khalifa, and had we had those 25 years under Imam Ali, he would have been the best one to explicate the Islam of the Prophet in differing circumstances and different contexts. And we would have learned a great deal from this great man. I have no doubt in saying this, that he would have taught us how to interpret Islam, how to understand Quran in different contexts. I have no doubt in saying this. I also say this, that historically, it is a fact that Imam Ali was a fourth Khalifa. It is undeniable. Historically, he was the fourth Khalifa. You can't deny this. He was the first Imam. He was the fourth Khalifa. The Sunnis and the Shias need to understand that both of them are believing in the same thing. Historically, the Shias cannot deny that he was the fourth Khalifa. Historically, the Sunnis cannot deny he was the Imam after the Prophet. Instead of making Imam Ali a point of disunity, Imam Ali should be a point of unity. Think about it. All our Sunni brothers are now beginning to say, those who are studying, they are saying, who contends against the fact that Ali ibn Abi Talib was the best of the best after the Prophet? Who can contend against that? They are saying he is. But historically he's the fourth Khalifa. What can we do about it now? Now, I say, we have a right to be objective, but we will not be disrespectful. We can objectively discern history, but we cannot be disrespectful. This is wrong. This is not what Ali ibn Abi Talib has taught us. If we belong to Ali ibn Abi Talib, the people in Siffin, when they were fighting against the forces of Muawiyah, when they began to abuse Muawiyah, Imam Ali said, keep your tongues clean. They said he is worthy of abuse. Imam said, your tongues are worthy of being kept clean. Imam said, talk with them, admonish them about the truth, so that they can come to the truth, and so that you can have the decisive argument with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the mentality of the Imam. This is how the Imam is, not the way we have made him to be. Are we even following the Imam that we say we are following? The Khalifa of Allah is meant to unite people of diversity, to bring them to their completion. We have made the Khalifa of Allah, the greatest one after the Prophet, a point of division amongst the Muslims. Where have we gone? The 12th Imam, when he comes, you know the hadith, yes? That he will retrieve Torah and Injil and rule upon the people of the Torah with their Torah, Injil with their Injil, Quran with their Quran. And his grandfather has become a point for the division of the Muslims themselves. How strange is this? That the 12th one will come and bring about a harmonious collective existence between people belonging to diverse Abrahamic faiths. And his own grandfather is a point for the division of the people who follow Muhammad Rasulullah. Doesn't that beg a question that something has gone wrong somewhere? What about the verse of the Quran? الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا لَسْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. O Muhammad, those people who divided their religion and became small parties, you are nothing to do with them. The Khalifa of Allah is there to bring about the beauty of one and all of God's creatures in accordance with their own limitations, allowing them to harmoniously coexist and to evolve. This was the role of Ali ibn Abi Talib, of course. At some point, in a few years' time, if Allah gives me life, can you recite salawat and come forward, please? Please come forward. The Khalifa is supposed to look at the aptitudes of the people and bring about fruition of goodness, not a point of division. It's not the role of the Khalifa. If Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayhi was here today, I don't think he would care for Sunni or Shia. Really? I don't even think he would care for Muslim and non-Muslim. He is that lofty. He is that lofty. As his brother and his Habib, Prophet Muhammad, constructed an ummah of the Muslims, Jews, Christians and pagans, and designated his brother Ali as the father of that ummah, Ali ibn Abi Talib, if he was here today, he would be appealing to humanity at large. Do you know this? He would not be like we are. Now, as I said, if Allah gives life, then in a few years' time, I would like to discuss this. Our history. Which one of us has ever bothered to check our history? History is always written from the perspective of the one who favors their side. But there have to be certain yardsticks certain measures by which we can discern what is true, what is false. If I prefer something, I will write the history in accordance with my preference. People make us believe that Imam Ali was at a constant battle with the Khilafa, don't we? But Imam Ali married the widow of Khalifa Abu Bakr. He raised Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr in his lap, and he raised Kulthum, the daughter of Khalifa Abu Bakr, in his lap. He married Asma, who before Khalifa Abu Bakr was the wife of Ja'far Tayyar. They were close family relations. Of course there was misgiving. Of course injustice was done. But do you think every moment of those 20 years was spent in hatred and dislike? Look at the cordial relations that they also had. Me and you fall out at times in the most bitter of ways, yet we are family and we are connected, and what? We get on with it, don't we? But look at the history that the pulpit feeds us. And then, I often quote this, look at the books of fiqh. Whenever Khalifa Umar would make a decision, and Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayhi would say otherwise, he would say, listen to what Abul Hasan is saying. On so many occasions, the Khalifa Umar would summon the Ansar and the Muhajirin and say, what is the view on this issue? And then he would ask Abul Hasan, what is your view? And when Imam Ali would give his view, he would say, yes, follow Abul Hasan's view. Look at Imam Ali for the greater good. He admonishes Umar, Khalifa Umar, I do not wish to be disrespectful to anybody, yes? But I reserve the right to be very objective. Yes? It is the Ummah of Muhammad Rasulullah that is dragging itself to death. Yes? For the sake of the one who united them. This is not on. He says to Khalifa Umar, when you go to battle in Persia, then don't be in the front of the forces. If they kill you, the morale of the army will break. The way we understand history, it would have been good if Imam Ali would have told him, go to the front so you'll be killed more easily than anybody else. Think about this carefully. When Khalifa Uthman is being attacked, he sends for Ali ibn Abi Talib to come and help him. He had that confidence that Abul Hasan would help him. So here it is. We need to understand that the history that we are being fed down the from the pulpit down our throats is a history that needs to be critiqued. A lot of hatred is stemming from this history. A lot of theology is coming from this history, and this history may not be accurate at all. This is one group. The other group is being given similar theology and similar history. We need to understand that Islam was not what it has become. This is not a rightful state. Now, sectarianism. I need to go into a few things today, and there are many pressing issues that I will not touch at all. I'll just indicate at them, yes? Sectarianism. From Imam Sadiq till the 11th Imam Salamullah alayhim ajma'in. They were all against sectarianism. Imam Sadiq says, pray with them. Have familial relations with them. Be cordial with them. Keep their trust properly. So on and so forth. Come to the 11th Imam, he is giving the same message. Before Imam Sadiq, we did not have sectarian strife. It emerged prominently from the time of Imam Baqir onwards. And these noble Imams, the Khulafa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Khulafa of Rasulullah, were trying to control this situation and trying to diffuse it all the time. Read the early history of Islam. There is so much tension. There are so many factions. There are so many groups everywhere. After the third Imam, there were two groups of Shias. After the fourth Imam, there were two groups of Shias. After the fifth Imam, everybody had a consensus on the sixth Imam. After sixth Imam, there were two or three groups. After seventh Imam, where? Show me one place in Islam, within the history of the Sunnis, within the history of the Shias, where there haven't been sectarian divisions and strife. If those people who say that Ali ibn Abi Talib was the first one and everything would have been the same, then I will say, why did you have the division after the third Imam? Why did some people say Muhammad ibn Hanafiya is the Imam? Why did other people say Imam Zainul Abidin is the Imam? Why did we have tension after the fourth Imam if it was so clear cut? it appears as if nobody is aware of their history. We are all very naively, uncritically sitting there and being fed history and sentiments and theology, and like sheep we are taking it. Seriously. Any sound mind would say, these are the noblest of people. They cannot become a part of the problem. They are a part of the solution. Ali ibn Abi Talib can never be a part of the problem. Ali ibn Abi Talib is supposed to be the solution for the problem. So 6th Imam till the 11th Imam, they are anti-sectarian. They are saying pray together. In one of the hadiths it says, the one who prays with their brothers is like the one who is praying with the Prophet. Why would the Imam need to say this? Why would the Imam need to word such a strong statement that pray with each other? This is not on what you're doing. The 5th Imam had a wife who was an enemy of Imam Ali, and then finally he divorces her. And then he was very sad according to our fiqh books. Yes? Our ulama quote this. And they said, well, why did you divorce her if you were so sad and you loved her so much? Yes, but she was the enemy of Imam Ali. What can I do? It just shows that things were very different then than what they are today. Today, we have history ready-made. We have it from the perspective of the people who have favored a particular position. And then we have got it. The Shias have theirs, the Ismailis have theirs, the Zaydis have theirs, the Sunnis have theirs. All of them have their own. And none of us are critical enough to go beyond it and say, actually, maybe this is from the perspective of individuals who had vested interest in there, maybe, or they were naive. But the persons that we are talking about, if indeed they are the Khilafa of the Prophet, then they are not a part of the problem. They are a part of the solution. Now, when we come to Imam Ali Salamullah alayhi, nobody can deny who he is. If you look at our Sunni brothers, they will all say it's undeniable that in Mubahala, Ali ibn Abi Talib came out as the nafs of the Prophet. Fatima came out as the nisa of the Prophet. Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein came out as the abna of the Prophet. They will all say that there is a hadith from Lady Aisha that when they were beneath the cloak, the Prophet said, these are my Ahlul Bayt. Nobody will deny that these 5 people, the Prophet and the 4, constitute the most close-knit Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet. And the fact that they were taken out in Mubahala, every Sunni will accept that it is only because of their merit and spiritual merit. And they are a cut above the rest in their spirituality. And in the hadith, Inni tarik fikum mustaqalain, that I leave 2 heavy weights. The Sunnis have this, the Shias have this. Nobody will deny that this second weight was the Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet, meaning these 5 after the Prophet, these 4 in particular, which shows their moral and intellectual supremacy to the rest. No Sunni will deny this. No Sunni of sound mind will deny this. Do you know the Sunnis, they can tolerate each other and they can tolerate the Shia. Do you know who they can't tolerate? They can't tolerate the Nasibi. You know who the Nasibi is? The enemy of Ali and the sons of Ali. Our Sunni brothers will never tolerate a Nasibi. They are not what we think they are. They are the lovers of Imam Ali. They can tolerate every distinction, but they cannot tolerate a Nasibi. And that is why the Nasibi have gone into hiding and spread off. So our Sunni brothers will never deny the status of Imam Ali, Lady Fatima, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein. And when we go to that verse of Tathir, we find that in the definition of that verse, Rijz means shirk, kufr, nifaq, at the spiritual level. That Allah keeps you clean from idolatry and association with God, disbelief and hypocrisy. That's at the first level. At the second level are all the moral deficiency of greed, of jealousy, so on and so forth, of the love of this world. Allah keeps you clean from all these things. But tell me something. The group that we call ourselves as Shias, do you not think that the wife of a prophet is also his Ahlul Bayt, even though less in stature than the children and brother? Aren't they also a person's Ahlul Bayt? Sunnis have to agree, and they are agreeing, that at the first level, a man's Children are his Ahlul Bayt, because you can't rid your children of the relation unless you disown them. But at the second level, there's a second tier of Ahlul Bayt as well. Your wife is your person of the house. How can you deny it? Why should this group say that apart from the five, nobody else is Ahlul Bayt? And why should that group say that the wives of the Prophet are equal to his family? Both of them need to awaken to the truth. I say this with full confidence, that Lady Aisha made a huge blunder in fighting against Ali ibn Abi Talib. It was a huge blunder, the biggest blunder ever. We can't deny it objectively. When we look at it, we can't deny it. I can't deny that Muawiyah was the biggest monster Islam has ever seen. The biggest monster. You can't deny it. Objectively, we need to look at these things. At the same time, I cannot deny that Lady Aisha was the wife of my Prophet. I can objectively discern things, but that does not give me warrant to disrespect and swear and curse. If that was the case, my Imam would have done it. But Ali ibn Abi Talib hasn't done it, Al-Hasan hasn't done it, Al-Hussein hasn't done it, Imam Zainul Abidin, Imam Baqir, Imam Jafar Sadiq, no one has done it. What gives me the right to go beyond my role models? Both the sides need to awaken that we have gone terribly wrong somewhere. Now, when Imam Ali is designated, the Shia community needs to understand this, that the name of Imam Ali is not in the Quran. It is not. Look at all the deliberations of all our ulama. Tusi, Mufid, Saduq, Allama Hilli, Al-Khui, the past ones and the modern ones, they will all say that the Quran is complete in its entirety. Allah says, Inna nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. We have revealed the remembrance and we are its protectors. And Allah says in the Quran, no falsity will come to it from the beginning or from the end. Ali ibn Abi Talib was asked, what is the Quran? He said, Ma bayna daffatain. What is between the two covers is the Quran in its entirety. In that Quran, the name of Imam Ali is not mentioned. We have to understand that Imam Ali is not mentioned in the Quran. So when the Sunni brothers say that we do not understand if Imam Ali was appointed by Allah, then they have legitimacy of claim based on that argument, whether they are right or they are not right. But at least to that part they are making sense, that it's not in the Quran. There is no verse saying that, O Prophet, after you, Imam Ali is the Quran explicitly. We say that that verse of Ghadir, Balligh ma unzila, that is our interpretation. But they are saying clearly it isn't stated. We have to admit to that. So we have to then maybe take out certain reasoning. We have to reason with the situation better. But from a naive perspective, if somebody says that, then you have to accept it, that yes, they have a point. We have to discuss it further. On the other hand, nobody denies that at Ghadir he said, Man kuntu mawla fahada aliyun mawla, that he whose mawla I am, Ali is his mawla. Nobody can deny that this happened. So is that the Prophet designating Imam Ali salamullah alayhi or not? We can argue from that angle. Then again, I will say this much. You cannot appoint a leader for a people contrary to their will. People have to give their consent. Look at Hussein ibn Ali. He comes to the people of Kufa and says, you have asked me to come here. If you do not want me, let me be, I will go back. The Prophet came to the people of Makkah. He said, I am a prophet, but he was not effective because they did not give him authority over themselves. It is only when the people of Medina who handed over the reins of authority to the Prophet that the Prophet became an effective leader. This point is a very simple point. It needs to be understood. Nobody can impose a leader upon anybody's heart. Leadership of the heart has to be earned. It is only when the Prophet earned that leadership in Medina and the people yielded to him that he brought about a morally refined and spiritually progressed community. Otherwise, it is only a leader for the bodies. So the Prophet is taking them through a democratic process. He's saying to them, look, do I not have a greater right upon you than you yourselves? They said, yes, Bala ya Rasulullah. He said, and in that case, whose Mawla I am, Ali is his Mawla. Because he secured the right from them. After securing the right, then he appoints. Here even the Shias have a variety of interpretation. One is saying he appointed, another one is saying he recommended. Even the Shia scholars in themselves have this opinion, dispute as to what it means, that particular incident. We cannot deny that there is this problem that we have, and we cannot deny that we have to look into it again, and we cannot deny that we have to resolve it before we can move on in the most accurate way and in the best way possible, so that Islam can arrive at that level where it's supposed to be. So if we could just become objective and have big enough hearts and say, look, Ali ibn Abi Talib was the best of God's creatures after the Prophet, undeniably everybody has to accept. The Ummah made a terrible blunder in not giving him the Khilafa. In Saqifa, the Ansar, they all said, despite the dispute between them, they all said, if Ali was here, we would all vote for Ali. Because Imam Ali was busy in the funeral rites of the Prophet. The Ansar said, if Imam Ali was here, we would all vote for Ali because he is the favored one of the Prophet. And he is the best amongst us. This is history. We all agree to this. Yes? Khalifa Abu Bakr and Khalifa Umar did not make Saqifa. They didn't make Saqifa. Saqifa was happening and they went there. This is also another fact that we need to understand. They did not create Saqifa. Saqifa was already happening. And they found out and they went. Read our history of Salawat and come forward, please. We need to resolve these issues in the calmest manner possible. Now, because of that, we have the tension today that we are pointing fingers of kufr and shirk at each other. We say anybody not believing in Imam is a kafir, because kufr means denial. And they are saying those people who believe in Imam in this way, they are mushrik. Yes? We are saying people who fold arms, their prayers are not accepted. And they are saying people who leave their arms open, their prayers are not accepted. Seriously, we are saying this on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As historians will tell you, people on the side of Imam Ali in the battle of Siffin might have prayed with their arms folded. Imam Ali did not have any problem with that. And the people on the side of Muawiyah might have prayed with their arms open, and they didn't have a problem with that. Can you see that? Just study history more closely, and we will see that something different was happening, and we are understanding something quite different. And it is about time we awoke, and we arose to that level of glory that was destined for the Khalifa of Allah in the name of Islam. The worst thing that's happened to the Muslim is sectarianism. This is what we have become, intolerant people. The Khalifa of Allah was supposed to be the most tolerant. They have become the least tolerant of God's creatures. Now, if we look at these Imams, honestly, when I talk with my Sunni brothers, they actually admit that you're right. These guys are phenomenal. Phenomenal is not the word. I say to them, think about this. Your texts tell you that there will be 12 Imams. Yes? They say yes. Isa had 12, Moses had 12, Nuh had 12. Why should Prophet Muhammad be any different? Then I said, your texts say this, that when Mahdi comes, salamullah alayhi, Isa will stand in front of God praying behind Mahdi. Mahdi will say to Isa, lead the prayer, O Spirit of God. And Isa will say, it is your time. You lead, I will stand behind you. Imagine the greatness of Mahdi at that point. Isa is offering his prayers behind Mahdi, the one who spoke in his cradle. From there we can understand how lofty Imamat is. And when they say that, some of the Shias, they compare Imam with prophethood, I will say yes, there is nothing and no one greater than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when it comes to Ali, the mind is baffled. How grand this man is. The mind is baffled. If you look at the missionary role of the Prophet, is till the end of time. The one who becomes the wali after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has to be as great in his wilayah. No other prophet has enjoyed this wilayah. This is how great this man is. So they say, but isn't this against the Quran? I said, of course not. Moses is ulul azam. Yet Khidr is teaching him. Our thinking is queued up. We don't know what we are thinking anymore. Moses is greater than Khidr. Khidr is still teaching him. Which angle are we comparing? What are we comparing? So when we go into Imamology, we will find that supremacy is for Ali ibn Abi Talib after the Prophet of Islam. The man is something phenomenal. You can't understand him. Imagine how grand this person is. You all know the example of Ali ibn Abi Talib, but I just wish to narrate one little example that you all know of. That when Amr ibn As comes to see him and he's sitting in the public treasury, Imam Ali asks him, have you come to see me on some personal matter, or have you come to see me on government matter? He said, personal matter. So Imam Ali switches off the candle and lights another one. Amr ibn As asks why. He said, that belongs to the public. It is not for my personal consumption. This belongs to me. If a person is that mindful in that small thing, where do you find somebody like him? Where do you find a person like him? He is struck and he says to Al-Hasan, Al-Hasan, I ask you for my right upon you that you will give him to drink what you drink and eat what you eat. This is his assassin. Untie his hand. He says, but father, he is your assassin. He said, don't you not see, Hassan, how fear prevails upon his face, how it has changed his color? This is Ali. Imagine a man who has this confidence that the striking of a sword says, Fustu Rabbil Kaaba. I am successful. Who has that confidence to say this? That every aspect of my life has been led so accurately that I have not faltered until the point of my death. Which man has the audacity and the confidence to utter those words? I need to go on to Masai, but I need to finish one thing. You know, when Khalifa Umar was killed, there was a frenzy. People said, Khalifa has been assassinated. And anybody who was seen running was put to death. A lot of innocent people lost their lives or were injured. Look at this. The sword descends upon his blessed head. Do you know what he says? Abdul Rahman ibn Muljim has assassinated me. Do not kill anybody else. At that point, he is mindful of the welfare of the ummah. Anybody else would lose their senses altogether. This is how grand this man is. We need to go back. We need to be open for the sake of the Prophet and these great Imams and work back and bring about a sort of Islam that befits a Muslim community, that allows us to display the gems of Khilafa that we are supposed to display through the teachings of these people. Unfortunately, I say to the Muslims, what difference does it make whether he was the first Imam or the first Khalifa? If you learn from him, you will become better people. If you don't learn from him, give him the number 1 and give him the number 4 and fight against each other and kill each other. What difference does it make to you? What difference does it make whether you call him Allah or Jehovah or Bhagwan? If you want to follow him, you will become godly people. Otherwise, go and kill on his name. For people who want the essence of the truth, the name and the first position and the last position doesn't matter. For the people who don't want the truth, there is perversion in their own souls, who will fight for the sake of the one who disallowed fighting and justified killing each other. One thing of Imam Ali, as we progress into this great night, when his assassin was brought to him, He looks at him and he says, was I not a good Imam? Abdurrahman ibn Muljim says, أَفَأَنْتَ تُنْقِذُ مَنْ فِي النَّارِ? O Ali, shall you save the one who is heading for the pit of hell? Imam said, yes. You are right. He says to Al-Hasan, if I live, I have the right to forgive him. If I die, you have the right to strike him once. But he says, oh Hassan, why do you tie your captive? Untie him. I cannot tolerate this. I will say, Ali, come and see on the 11th of Muharram how they have tied the hands of your Zainab behind her back. No, Ali, if you can witness the scene, then I take you to another scene that Sajjad observes. Child of 3, on the torn chest of her father, refusing to move, and a whip descends upon her back. Oh Ali, these are the people after you. Great night of Ashura comes upon us. Zainab is filled with grief. She finds no peace within her soul. She cries out, as we hear from the people who read the Marathi, O night, do not end. For with your ending, Zainab's household will be ruined. Praying all night long. And she begins to miss her brother. But Hussein is pleading with Allah with such intensity that the enemies begin to attack. Abbas, Akbar, go to them. Habib, ask them for some respite until the crack of dawn. I wish to be alone with my God. For you know how Hussein is desirous to remember his God before I meet him. It is said that the way in which Hussein remembered God on this night and the way he devoted, that the people in the enemy camp on this night, when they heard him, they began to defect. Many came and joined his camp, and many left the plains of Karbala. Night deepens. Lady Zainab is filled with anguish. She comes from her tent. I will go and see my brother. She comes to the tent of her brother, and she finds it unguarded. How dare, on this night, my brother's tent is unguarded. I will indeed reprimand Abbas and Habib, she says. She looks inside, and she sees Hussein inside sajda, praying to Allah. She comes in a rage, advances towards the tent of Abbas, and she hears soft humming emanating from the tent of Abbas. She lifts the cloth and looks inside. She sees the lion of Ali in the center of the tent, knelt and polishing his blade, and the sons of Hashim are revolving around him. And he cries out, O children of Hashim, what do you intend for tomorrow when the battle breaks out? O Abbas, O our master, the decision is yours, command, and you shall find us obedient. None of the helpers of Hussein shall die before you. You will die before them tomorrow. For no one should say that Hussein valued his family above his helpers. When Zainab heard this, she was filled with emotions, broke down into tears. She begins to retreat. She hears similar humming from the tent of Habib. She looks inside. She finds Habib in a similar posture in the middle of the tent, polishing his blade, and the Ansars were rotating around Habib. Habib says, O Ansar, why have you come to this desert? What do you intend for tomorrow when the battle breaks out? O Habib, the command is yours. Order and you shall find us obedient. None of the family of Hussein shall die before you tomorrow. Least anybody says that the helpers of Hussein valued their lives above the family of Hussein. Zainab is overcome with emotions. As she is retreating, she finds her Hussein advancing. When Hussein looks at her, she breaks into a smile. Hussein says, "Oh Zainab, what is the cause of this smile on this dreadful night? Your heart has been snatched of all rest." She explains to Hussein what she has heard and seen. "Zainab, do you wish me to test their loyalty for tomorrow?" "Indeed, O brother. Stand behind that tree. O Abbas, O sons of Hashim, hasten to me. O Habib, O Ansar, hasten to me." They come running to Hussein ibn Ali. Hussein summons them all. Says, "O people, mighty, bloody battle shall break out tomorrow. These people will not rest until they put me to death. Your death shall not save me. But if you wish, you can take the shade of the night and save your lives. I relieve you of the obligation of allegiance." No sooner had Hussein said this, that they unsheathed their swords and they placed them upon their necks. They said, "Hussein, do you doubt our loyalty? Command us, and you shall find our heads at your feet." Hussein says, "By God, no prophet, no wasi has been blessed with such loyal companions." He says, "What shall you do tomorrow?" Muslim ibn Awsaja stands. He says, "Hussein, tomorrow we shall fight with your enemies with our swords. When our swords break, we shall fight with them with our spears. When our spears break, we shall throw stones at them. When stones finish, we shall engage them with our bare hands. When our arms are cut, O Hussein, if after that our heads are cut, if after that our bodies are shredded into pieces, if after that they are burned to ashes, if after that our ashes are scattered in thin air, O Hussein, every atom will plead to Allah to restore us so we can die for you once again." Hussein commends them. Hussein says, "Look up." They look towards the heavens and they find paradise awaiting them and the doors open. They say, "Oh Hussein, had it not been for your command, we would have advanced for this at this very moment." Hussein says, "No, that none of you shall live tomorrow." There's a young child. He says, "Oh uncle, shall I also be of those who die tomorrow?" He says, "Child, how do you find death?" "Sweeter than honey, oh uncle, if it is for you." He embraces Qasim. He says, "Even Asghar shall be killed tomorrow." "Will they attack the tents, or uncle?" "No, I shall take him out to quench his thirst." Hussein looks at his companions. "Go, hand over your women to the clan of Bani Asad. For tomorrow after I have been killed, my sisters, wives and daughters shall be taken as captives of Rome, and they shall be paraded and dragged from city to city." Ali ibn Madahir comes to his tent. The brother of Habib ibn Madahir says, "Dear wife, prepare." "Where to?" "I shall take you and hand you over to the kafil of Bani Asad." "Why?" "Because I shall be killed tomorrow." "Shall Hussein be killed?" "Indeed." "What will happen to Zainab?" "She will be taken as captive." "Sorrow be your lot, O son of Madahir. The daughter of Fatima will be taken as captive, and your wife shall live like a free woman. Go and die for Hussein and let me be." The night deepens. Hussein comes out. Nafi bin Hilal says, "I saw Hussein going into the battlefield. I followed him. he heard me coming. He said, "Who is this?" "It is I, Nafi." "Why do you follow me?" "Prevent an ambush. Come with me." Hussein is walking. "Oh Master, what is this that you do?" "I examine the battlefield for tomorrow, to see where the enemies will wait for us to ambush us, from where they can attack us." He comes to a place and he holds his chest and cries, "Why, O Hussein? My Akbar's chest will be wounded here." He comes to another place and he sits down. He's unable to stand. "Oh Master, what shall happen here? My Abbas will fall from his steed." He comes to another place and he's unable to control himself. "Master, and what here? My little thirsting child will be quenched with an arrow." He moves on. I asked him, "What is this place? And why does a woman wail?" "That is where I am to be killed, and that is my mother Fatima." Ashura comes. The battle begins. Hussein's men fall. His brothers are killed. His nephews are killed. His sons are killed. His Abbas is killed. Hussein is on his own. Comes to the tent of Abbas. He looks inside and says, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah." I will say, "Hussein, do you look for your Abbas? He is not there. Your Abbas has died, Hussein." He sits on his steed, cries out, "Ya Fursan al-Hijah, O my warriors, what has become? I call on to you, but you respond not." Failing any response, he cries out, "Hal min nasirin yansurna, hal min mughithin yughithuna." Is there a helper who will help us? Is there someone who will defend us? Is there somebody who will defend the household of the Prophet? When he cries out, cries arise from the tents of the women. He runs and he says, "Has a child died?" Kulthum says, "Oh brother, every time you cry out for a helper, your little Asghar begins to tremble. Oh Hussein, thirst is killing him. His mother is unable to feed him. We fear for his life. Take him and seek a drop of water." Hussein covers Asghar, fearing for his life under the scorching heat of the sun. On horseback, Shimr says, "See, now he has no Abbas." So he brings the Quran to arbitrate to save his life. Hussein goes in front of the army, unveils his Quran, and raises Asghar upon his hands. He says, "Oh people, what wrong has this child done to you? He dies of thirst. Do you not see how he trembles? If you are fearful that I shall drink your water, then I will place him somewhere. Come and place a drop of water into his mouth." As Hussein says this, there is great commotion within the army. They begin to cry and turn their faces away. Umar ibn Saad looks at this. "Ya Hurmala, iqta' kalam al-Hussein." Hurmala, sever his speech. as Hurmala fixes his arrow into the bow, string of the bow, Hussein pleads with Allah, O Lord, I bring my final offering to you. I have snatched him from a lap that has known none other to offer. Hurmala's hand trembles. Why do you tremble so, O Hurmala? Look on, Amr ibn Sa'd, may that be the mother of the thirsty child. A bewildered woman appears at the tents. Hurmala, concern yourself not. At him. Hussein holds Asghar, pleading to Allah. The arrow tears through the air. Hussein is pleading. An arrow with 3 heads penetrates within the neck of Asghar, tearing it from ear to ear. Asghar turns upon the hands of Hussein. The scene is so shocking that Hussein loses his senses. He is unaware as to what has happened. The hot blood from the wound of Asghar spills into the palm of Hussein, and Hussein becomes aware that Asghar has been taken. He begins to tremble and shake. He looks towards the skies, and the skies turn away their faces. He looks to the earth, and the earth trembles beneath him. He wipes Asghar's blood upon his beard. He takes Asghar's body forward, crying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridan biqada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. He is unable to advance. He retreats. मैं कहूँगा ए हुसैन, बच्चा ही तो है, क्या भार है इस बच्चे का? ए हुसैन, क्यों इस तरह लरजते हैं आप? ए हुसैन, आगे बढ़िए, आपके अज़म को क्या हुआ? हुसैन कहते हैं, वाह अली या वाह अली। मैं कहूँगा हुसैन, अगर अली मुर्तज़ा को बुला रहे हैं, खाले खैबर तो मत बुलाइए, इस भार को अली नहीं उठा सकते। मैं कहूँगा हुसैन, अभी ही तो अकबर के सीने से बर्छी निकाली, कासिम के टुकड़े उठाए, अब्बास के बाजू उठाए, आखिर इस बच्चे का भार ही क्या है? आगे बढ़िए। हुसैन मेरी तरफ देखते हुए कहते हैं, इस शख्स तुझे पता नहीं है, इसकी माँ को वादा देकर आया हूँ कि तुम्हारे बच्चे को सैराब करके आऊंगा। हुसैन खेमे की तरफ आते हैं, रुबाब दौड़ती है, कहती आका मुझे मेरा बच्चा चाहिए। जब हुसैन ने अबा हटाई तो कहती है, वाह असगरा, क्या तुझ जैसों को इस तरह ज़िबा करते हैं जिस तरह ऊंटों को ज़िबा करते हैं? वाह हुसैना या हुसैन।